Hi everyone, and welcome back to George's Books 83. So today we are going to be talking about the beautiful book Peach Blossom Spring. This was the book for my local book club for April. It's by Mellisa Fu and it's only just been pretty much released recently. This is a hardback copy because the paperbacks aren't out yet, and I must admit I do prefer paperback book. However, this is beautifully presented. I love the front cover. I love the fact that some of the bits here, like the cherry blossoms and things, those are like gloss, and then the rest has got like a sort of matte feel to it. So beautifully presented, beautiful pictures. There's a lot of details to this book that make it very pretty, and the presentation of it is great. So basically it's 1938 in China, and the Japanese are advancing. A young mother, Mai Lin, is forced to flee a burning city with her 4-year-old son, Renshu, and embark on an epic journey across China. For comfort, they turn to their most treasured possession, a beautifully illustrated hand scroll. Its ancient fables offer solace and wisdom as they travel through their ravaged country seeking refuge. So it follows the mum and the son all through the book, to the point where at the end the son is an adult. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers away, but I feel like I can't talk about this one without saying a couple of details. It's dedicated to the author's family and in memory of somebody who I can't say the name of because it's wrote in Chinese. It also has this lovely map of China of 1938 in the beginning of the book, which I think is a nice touch there. So there's a little bit about the origins in the beginning. And then we start with part 1, which I tabbed it and I did put beautifully presented. So at that point I'd already decided on this. So the book does work in parts. Part 1 is 1938 to 1941, and throughout the book it tells you what years the parts cover, and like it's got a lovely little picture there. So chapter 1, the beginning bit made me laugh. Okay, so it talks about this Chinese man, and I'm not going to try saying his name. I think it's Deo something, but the surname, which I didn't realize in Chinese, comes before the first name. It says he had 3 wives. Their names are not important. That really made me chuckle. You know, he's got 3 wives, but who cares what their names are? It doesn't matter. He's got 3 wives. So it starts telling you about the family. We've got the mum and the son, who I've said about. We've got uncles and aunts. They do lose track of them somewhere along the way because they are fleeing a burning city, and you know, they do their best to get out, but unfortunately some get left behind. The first couple of pages I found hard to get through because there was a lot of Chinese names on there, and I did feel that if it was like that I was going to struggle with the book. I felt I was going to struggle with it anyway because it's not the sort of thing that I would choose myself to read. But I actually fell in love with it, which is really, yeah, I found this book really homely, and I got very attached to the characters. When I finished reading it, I had to I had a couple of days break before I picked up another book because I still felt like I needed that time to get over this book, which doesn't happen, you know, a great deal. So also going through the book, it does show you whereabouts they are in China and the month and things. So you are very much keeping up with the time, which I think is quite a nice feature of it, because you're watching this little boy growing up as they're going from China and here and there. You know, they're having to get onto boats, they're having to find ways to get to places basically without getting hurt or without getting robbed. They don't have many possessions with them. They do have this scroll that it talks about, and when the little boy's feeling sad, he asks his mum to tell a story from the scroll. There is a trigger warning in the book, which I think I tabbed off, and that was for rape. So if you're not keen on reading stuff like that, then maybe avoid it. But it's only a tiny bit, so it's not too bad. So unfortunately she doesn't end up selling the scrolls, so the scroll's not with us till the end of the book. And I say it like that, it does become a big part of the book then. So I've tabbed things, and some things I'm not sure why I've sort of why I've tabbed it, but so by chapter 8 we're 8 years into the journey, but they're still traveling, so they do make stops on the way. There's several places that they make home for a few years, and then you see them moving on. They meet so many different people. Miley and the mum, she makes some good friends, but obviously eventually has to leave them. It talks also about sort of like the air raid sirens going off, and they all have to go into like the crowded underground, and yeah, it covers a lot of issues, like that, you know, people get killed, loved ones, things like that. It's very sad at times as well. So the reference to the name of the book, that's another one of the stories that the mum tells her son. So she's on about a story that called Peach Blossom Spring, which is about a magical, perfect place to live, and she tells him about these two men who find it and go and live there. She hides part of the story from him, which you find out later on as well. Renshu, the son, does really well. He goes on to study, and yeah, with the help of his uncle, he manages to go over to America. So he's separated from his mum, and they don't see each other in like 20 years or something, which is very sad. I don't know if I could cope with being apart from my mum, with everything going on, like in the war and stuff. I think that would be really, really hard. He meets a girl, you know, so on and so on. He starts his own family. Like I say, it goes on. He does get to see his mum again. There's a lot of kindness in the book. Mylin, the main mum character in the book, you know, she's always trying to help people. She's always willing to help, and the kindness is sometimes returned, especially about halfway through-ish, where she meets a lady called, I'm going to say Peiwen, who has some children, and yeah, they get to know each other really well. And so it carries on, and it just puts her in so many different situations, and she muddles by, and she does so well to look after her son throughout all the years. Yeah, the family, they kind of lose touch, and then they get back in touch again a few times through the book as well. So I don't want to tell you too much on that, because it would spoil it a little bit. Another part of it I tabbed off was chapter 26, which is December 1983, because I remember reading through and thinking, gosh, this was when I was born. So, you know, it's weird to think that this sort of was going on, because obviously it's based on what happened. It's weird to think that it was going on when I was just born. And, you know, some of the things, it's quite old-fashioned things in here, and you sort of forget, yeah, in a way, that it was quite a while ago now since I was born. And it's really interesting book. I really loved it. Once I'd really gotten into it, I read quite a lot of it all at once. Yeah, it was really lovely. And then I think you do get an epilogue at the end as well, which is nice. So it updates you on their life. So the most recent part of their life is 2005 that it tells you about. So it goes from 2000, and then it jumps, and the epilogue is 2005. So I was really glad that was in there. It was a really lovely ending. I was quite satisfied with how it ended. There is a picture of the author in the book. This is her first novel. I don't know, is she the one? yeah, it says it's her first novel. I'm not sure if she's the one who was writing poetry before, but for a first novel, I mean, she smashed it. It's brilliant. There's some great people saying great things about it. Somebody said the author of Ariadne, don't know if I'm saying that right, says Jennifer Saint says it's glorious and tender, exquisitely written and beautifully nuanced. I finished it with tears in my eyes. This one says magical and powerful. Mellisa Fu has gifted us with a timely and moving and universal novel. I definitely agree. It's an eye-opener, definitely. It makes you think about a lot of different things, sort of what go on in the world and how lucky you were growing up, because some obviously weren't as lucky. Obviously, the dad went off to war, so it was just left as the mum and her son, and sometimes it was just them there was their family. That's all they saw. The friends they met along the way, they sort of classed as family. But yeah, a brilliant read. I can't rave about it enough, honestly. I definitely give Peach Blossom Spring 5 out of 5. Go get it. If you like a sort of homely, it could be based on real life, so it could be a real family, which I like to think that maybe it was. Especially because you feel like you've grown up with them. It's very bizarre. I loved it. So thanks for watching that review, guys. Sorry I've probably baffled on a bit about this book, but that just shows you that I really enjoyed it and I really think it's worth a read. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other videos and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.